here.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite gold member's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the GameStop, and I think shared with Barnes & Noble. I'm not entirely sure about that. I know the 4-pack was, but at least GameStop exclusive, Snoke with the Throne. Luckily, my buddy Pinkerton over at Crashbox Customs was able to pre-order this guy at 2 o'clock in the morning when it first went up, and I was one of the few whose orders actually got fulfilled, so yeah, I'm very grateful for him. He's been a true friend to me over this past year, and I definitely have appreciated him. But you don't want to hear about my love life. You want to hear about this figure and this set. I want to show you something that it comes with. I don't think I'm going to be installing it because I'm not going to use it, but it comes with this little foot ledge that you can put underneath. It plugs in. We'll talk about it when we talk about the throne. I'm not going to show that because I don't think I'm going to use it. There might be something else I'm going to take off of this set, but we'll talk about that as we go through it. So let's talk about the throne. Obviously, this is where this plugs in. It gives a much more kind of finish to it all. Definitely, you know, an asset. I'm just gonna hide this for now because I'm not sure what I'm gonna end up doing with this, but I think I have a place for it. I'll be honest with you on my diorama, but I might have to unscrew this stuff here and take this off as well in order to get it to fit. Because I just didn't have the foresight to see a throne being used. But there's tons of great stuff here. Let's talk about it. We have this gunmetal paint here, here, and here on both sides. We have all sorts of sculpted details. We have the blue and red paint there, orange and red, and more blue paint down there for accents. The blue paint that goes along the throne, which looks fantastic. We have all of this sculpted, like, cushiony seat here for where he sits. It's just really well done. We have a lot of sculpted detail on the back too, but of course they don't bother painting that because they don't think that people are going to use it for display purposes, but it would have shown a little extra attention to detail and a little extra care and passion had they done it. This piece here, we have the light up sections at the bottom that are all painted. That's cool enough. Like I said, I wish I could use it, but I don't think I'm going to because when he sits in it, you don't, with the robe and all, you don't really see the hole, so to speak, anyway, and it still will fit on my diorama, I believe, this way, but I'm going to wait and see. We're going to use that for the skit today as a little trial and error. So let's talk about the figure now. I love the golden robes. Now, in the trailer, it seems like the robes are a bit darker. They're not quite as bright, but I love this sense of opulence. I love this sense of decadence about him and how beat up he looks and how kind of, you know, like about the dollar bill, y'all, he seems to be. I dig that a lot. There's tons of paint on this guy. The head is on... It might be a double ball peg. I think it's a double ball peg. Check Hasbro out. I think this is a darker colored plastic with just tons of dry brushing over the face to kind of bring out all those sculpted details. The eye paint is done as good as you can imagine it would be. It's a little hard because his face is so distorted. But I think they did a tremendous job with the face sculpt and the paint overall on this guy. And look at those baby blues. But it looks really good, and all this sculpted detail down here for his neck, and it just looks so much like him. I think they knocked it out of the park. Now, let's talk about what's under the rose, which is this Pajama Jam set, which is a little crazy, and we have more of this bowing out of the legs that we've been seeing recently with the Black Series. I don't understand it. They need to get a hold of that. It's not good. And then we have some dry brushing of like kind of dirt down at the bottom of the PJs, which I don't know how I feel about because I feel like from his character design, he would be in a cleaner kind of set of PJs underneath. Now he has the same sort of tunic underneath, but I don't think it has any sleeves on it. And the collar is a softer piece of plastic that's glued in to keep the robe up. So that's smart. That's very smart. Then we have this softer plastic bit for the belt that just fastens with a peg around him. That's all sculpted well and then is painted gold. Very cool. The arms all the way up are painted, even underneath the robes. Nice touch. For articulation, we have a ball joint. It's at the diaphragm. It's very high up, but I think it'll get you all the range that you'll need out of him. We have a disc hinge shoulders. Get you up. It's a tight joint, so be careful. And then the swivel. There's a bicep swivel. Check them out. Double jointed elbow, which we don't always see either in Black Series. So that's nice to see. To be fair, we usually see it on flesh arms. And then a wrist and a hinge in out for this hand. All the nails are painted, and look at the hand detailings and paint and such. They really did a good job. Same for this other side, and we have this rumored kyber crystal ring, black kyber crystal ring. I like that a lot as well. Wrist swivel hinge in out here as well. T-jointed ball joints for hips, very limited. Out to there. Front and back get you almost the full Monty in his leaping little slippers. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knee. Ugly as sin, but get you the full range. And then it doesn't look like they gave the same detailings to the legs, which is a little strange because you kind of end up seeing more of them just as the figure is positioned, which is a little weird that they would paint the arms and not the legs. And then the slippers are all painted in this gold, and they look good. You get an ankle tilt all the way up, all the way down, and a rocker. Tons of sculpted detail in the slipper itself. So, you know, this character's still pretty much a mystery, which I dig. I think that Star Wars, half the fun of it is trying to figure out all the stuff that's going on. But I think, like, I've heard a lot of rumors about him being like kind of like almost like a Dracula type character when it comes to the Force. I'm gonna have to see what's going on with that. I don't know. You know, and that's cool to me. Like, he's kind of like feeding off of the Force, and he's actually regenerating. You know, and that's why he's starting to look maybe arguably a little better than he did in Force Awakens. But all that's still rumor and speculation. But I do find this character very interesting. I think that him and Kylo are going to be, you know, the kind of more interesting storyline to come out of this movie. I think a lot of people are hoping that it's Rey, but I have a feeling it's not going to be her that ends up stealing the show. So as a quick heads up, I do have to take it apart, but it does hold these pieces together. Now, I'm just hoping I can have it situated in there where this just rests up against it, but it is going to save me a fair amount of space, so we'll see how it turns out. There it is. And yeah, I'm good with that for the time being, at least. We'll have to see how it looks once all these Praetorian guards show up. It might be worth kind of moving them over into one of these, but still looks pretty good. Final thoughts wise, I think it's a very interesting set, and I think it's worth the money. I love the throne. I love little accessories like that people can incorporate into their dioramas or displays or what have you. Like, you know, the Emperor figure is a lot better looking on, at least the Hasbro one, you know what I mean? Is a lot better looking on a throne than he is just standing there. And I think that a lot of times little stuff like this ends up going a long way in terms of how the figure ends up looking and the presence it ends up having. I like the soft goods on this guy. I like the sculpt. I think the paint is top shelf, especially for Hasbro. I think that the throne is painted to the nines. I think it's a good set. In terms of my criticisms, I'm still seeing that bowing in the legs. I'm not sure what's going on. They need to get a grip on that. That's becoming, you know, if it happens once, it's a mistake. If it happens a number of times, it's a habit. And I'm starting to see it in a habitual nature, and that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. And there's also some really tight joints in here that I advise you to be careful of, and I wish they would have painted the legs down here. I think that's a very strange choice not to have done that. But yeah, overall, still a recommend from me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.